On today's papers this morning, we have joining us a former editor of this day newspaper, Mr. Eddy Odivwri. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
So let's begin with the Guardian newspaper.
Okay.
And it leads with this story. Buhari, DSS get ultimatum to free Showore, Jasuki, others. Well, you may want to find out who would order the president, so to speak. Foreign Affairs Ministry downplays comment by U.S. lawmaker how activists ordeal forced deferral of award to Osinbajo. You may want to check that out. It's on the front page, continues on page 6. What's your take on this?
I think it's pretty embarrassing that the government has allowed this to linger, because if we say we are operating the rule of law, the law has said you should release these people. So what is the other ground for keeping them? Dasuki, Showore, and co. What is the other ground for keeping them? If Showore, the latest case, has been granted bail, does the DSS have the right to revoke the bail granted by the court? I think that's a pertinent question that should be asked. So if people are protesting and demanding the release of these persons, I think it is a legitimate demand, because the government has flouted the rules and disobeyed its own laws that should be the canon for governance.
But sorry, Kaudi, the take is that he is being rearrested, not that the DSS revoked or reversed the bail granted by the court. It was a rearrest, so it's like it's a fresh new...
This was a man that was with them since August 3rd. So what is the ground for the rearrest? Did they also approach the court to say, we have found XYZ other crimes, and this is the reason for the rearrest? Have they said anything? So to rearrest him right there in the court, I think it bespeaks of abuse of powers.
Was he rearrested in the court, or they attempted to rearrest him in the court?
Well, within the court precincts. Or you saw the drama that took place inside the courtroom, and the DSS had claimed or denied that it was not involved in that drama, but that eventually he was rearrested.
But see, this 14-day ultimatum, how effective do you think it will be? We saw the 24-hour ultimatum, which was given by the court, was obeyed. But this 14-day ultimatum, do you think it would hold water?
Yes, it could. It is the power of the masses, the power of the people. Do not forget, the ultimate power belongs to the people. And I think the window of 14 days is long enough for the government to reactivate its own methods and procedures and ensure that these persons are released. It is very well possible.
Just one more thing. Speaking of government, there was a statement put out yesterday, I'm not sure you saw it, by the Vice President. It was regarding the award ceremony he was meant to attend.
Shunning it.
Exactly. And, well, not entirely shunning it. He put out a statement explaining why. And he said the other reason, first, he was out of the country. And second reason is, in view of the developments on Friday in the case involving Showore, the Vice President said, I think it will be insensitive and inappropriate to attend the ceremony. Listen to that from the Vice President. What do you think he's trying to say?
Insensitive and inappropriate.
Right.
Do not forget, this is one, a lawyer, a professor of law, a senior advocate of Nigeria. So many of these things playing out to be antithetical to the old belief that he has always had and pursued, both as either as a lecturer or as an ordinary citizen out of government. So it is clearly ironical that he would be in a place to explain why government is not doing what it ought to do. And so that explains why what he's talking about, it will be insensitive, it will be inappropriate.
So you think he's probably against all this that is happening?
I think so. I think a normal Osinbajo wouldn't ordinarily support some of these things that is taking place in his government.
Okay. Let's move on. The Guardian newspaper, still on the front page of the Guardian. Senate panel, Akpabio, face-off over NDDC gets messier. Senate panel, Akpabio face-off over NDDC gets messier. Senator demands fact of 1 billion naira consultancy jobs claim. They're afraid of forensic audit, says Minister. Interim panel should never defend budget. That's on the front page and continues on page 6. What's your take on this? It's probably an area that you will be personally.
It's a little foggy because so many people have always worried about the way Akpabio has gone about his job, as it were. Don't forget, he was also a senator, until recently. So for him to be clashing with his former colleagues bespeaks of something a little worrisome. But more than that, he is being accused of just dropping figures. Once his committee, the committee was trying to put up to do the interim whatever, had claimed that a particular senator had 300 contracts. Have they brought out the name till now? That is still being looked into. And now he's saying somebody got 1 billion naira consultancy. What is the total budget of NDDC for a consultant to have 1 billion? What is he consulting on? And in any case, if he has the fact, they have dead him. Release it. You should release the facts. So it's not just enough banding words and figures without, being specific. And what is more, the people have also queried the intent to have an interim body. The body led by Ojugo and the rest of them, Cairo Ojugo and the rest. What is the essence? What is really the essence? It's talking about people being afraid of forensic. Why should they be afraid? In fact, if you ask me, some of them, including Akpabio himself, might even be people who are also putting up this forensic thing to make up for whatever things they did in the past, if you ask me.
Interesting perspective.
Very interesting perspective indeed. Okay, well, one last one from the front page. Nami replaces Fowler as FRS boss. Well, you're a journalist, having been following all the stories about, all the indictments and all of that, the former FIRS boss. Did this come to you as a surprise? No,
it didn't come to me as a surprise, but I think it's tenure-based.
Yes, it is.
The appointment is tenure-based.
It lapsed on Monday or something.
It lapsed. Yeah. So if it lapsed, I think we also give credit to Buhari for allowing the tenure to run out, as it were. And so if the tenure ran out, well, it probably would have had the benefit of a renewal, if possible. But because of several types of crises and scandals that may have broken out in times past and issues that have not been sufficiently resolved, well, he appointed somebody else. And so I think it is within the powers of the president to so do.
All right, let's leave it there for The Guardian.
Well, next is the Vanguard newspaper. And as you'd expect, the big story, Amnesty International, Serap, others threaten mass action. That's concerning Shore's rearrest. Issue 14-day ultimatum to federal government on his release and demand apology from federal government over what it calls desecration of federal high court by DSS. We talked about this much earlier. That story is on page 5 of the Vanguard. But next to that story, you will see this bizarre type of story. Quack doctor jailed 54 years after 15 fatal surgeries. After 15 fatal surgeries. I believe this happened in Adamawa. He was arrested by the DSS, interestingly, but more details on page 6. 15 fatal surgeries. I'm wondering, the first fatal surgery, what happened? The second one, third one, now 15.
So the question to ask is,
there are more questions for you.
Yes. Where was NMA? How did this quack doctor get into the practice? If you recall, there was about 4 or 5 years back that the president of Nigerian Medical Association was a fake doctor. About 4 or 5 years ago, he was arrested in Abuja. That he presided over NMA for almost 10 years. And then they eventually found out that he was a fake doctor. He was never a medical student. In fact, from the report at the time, he used the photocopy of a friend who was a proper medical doctor to get into medical practice, and that's how he worked himself up to the politics of NMA and became the president of NMA. So the question here is, yeah, the man, fake doctor, quackery, and the rest of it. Where was NMA? Who hired him?
That's a big question.
Who hired him?
Well, you find more details on
What did they find out about him?
More questions still coming.
Well, he's a journalist. What do you
exactly.
expect?
It's on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. A really shocking one there. Quack doctor jailed 54 years after 15 fatal surgeries. There's this sad one. A couple of sad stories on top of the nameplate. Electrician attacks Maersk MD, murders wife in Lagos. That story is on page 6. Really shocking and sad story there. And next to that, ISWAP threatens army, kills 2 soldiers, policeman in Borno, as troops rescue 14 women, 17 children from insurgents. I believe you saw that video that was trending yesterday. ISWAP, that execution, that video. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't see the video.
It was quite shocking. But right under that, there's this Moody's reports downgrades Nigerian banks. It's on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. And let's just see what's on the back page. Let's see sports news. You see Champions League, Inter will suffer against Barca, the usual. That's coming from Conte. But you see this one coming from Anthony Joshua, saying, "I'll fight Wilder, Fury, sooner or later," says Anthony Joshua.
That doesn't surprise you.
It doesn't surprise me.
But what do you think his chances are, especially with Wilder?
Yeah, because people have believed that he is actually stronger than he showed in the last Bet One show. And somebody was giving me an analysis that I couldn't quite absorb, but it is possible that it was all scripted. That the fight where he lost initially was scripted, and that he was indeed stronger than he had shown, and he has proven in the last fight that he's stronger.
Were those cuts and those punches also scripted? I don't want to be that kind of script, honestly.
Let's move on. The next paper here is the Leadership newspaper, and it leads with this one. PDP government left PDP government left $63.81 billion debt in 2015. That's according to the Debt Management Office. Says $7 billion claim by ex-CBN Deputy Governor incorrect. Figures. Sometimes you don't know what really obtains until you get in there.
I'm not surprised, and I'm not fazed by those figures. If this Buhari government were to end today, how much debt has he accumulated for Nigerians? So it's a government, and that he left XYZ amount, $63.81 billion debt. It's not such a big deal, as if you ask me. Here now we are running into trillions, isn't it? Our debt profile is rising by the day, given the loans we are taking. Yes, for good purposes or for whatever purposes, but still it's debt that we are incurring and accumulating for us. So I'm not dazed by the humongous figure that they have claimed. It's a government, and even America is owing.
Okay. Well, this next one right under the paper there, right under the lead one there, is why we must regulate social media. That's according to the presidency. Well, it's also an ongoing story.
I think I've also written on this, and I'm worried that of all things troubling us in Nigeria, of all the aches we are passing through, this is what seems to be getting so much attention from government, and I'm pretty concerned about that. Well, I agree there have been some abuses in the social media operation. Almost everybody operates social media, posts things that are unverified. I also agree that in several countries, you do not have that freedom to do as much as we are doing in Nigeria. That I know. But the point remains that we have a ground norm that guarantees people's free expression. It shouldn't be abused, I must caution. It shouldn't be abused, but the way they want to slam this regulation constrict people into saying certain things. I think it's something that wouldn't hold. I know that it wouldn't hold.
Well,
it wouldn't succeed.
I think the good thing is this is a democracy, right? And people can, put their input, as it were. So I believe that this is an ongoing process and people should actually speak up.
Yes, and people are really speaking up.
Great.
People are speaking up.
So let's see New Telegraph and find out what's making the news. Genco's Disco's lament seek 1.23 trillion naira bailout. Wow. Senate urges federal government to declare emergency on power, government to empower states on solid mineral exploration and control the power sector. They are seeking investment, 1.23 trillion naira. In fact, it's a bailout. Do you think this is legitimate?
Bailout from who?
Or what?
Haven't we, privatized PHCN? We unbundled it. And so we got into Genco's, Disco's, and the rest of them. So when you say you are looking for this 1.2 trillion naira bailout, from who?
Maybe it's
from government?
Maybe some form of recapitalization.
What?
Maybe.
By who? See, government wanted to liberalize the generation and distribution of electricity and called for people. If you have money, you have technical expertise, you have capacity to do this, come. And then they came. They came and then they were given the license to operate. That's what the Senate President is saying, that thus far, we have had no reason to cheer. I'm sure you run on Gen here. I can check your office how much you spend on diesel. My little office, if I tell you how much I also spend on diesel, is something else. So Nigerians are not happy that the Gencos and Discos or whatever they are called have not been able to impress Nigerians. I am also aware that they have also blackmailed the government several times, because they will threaten that, everywhere will go blackout and everything. And then government will give them...
But is it a fault of their own? But I know this conversation will continue, but we'll see how this plays out. It's on page 2 of the New Telegraph.
Let's take one last paper and then we can move on to other things this morning. And that paper would be... Okay, well, maybe... Well, you can see that... the lawyer of Showore is still saying something. Anyway, let's look at this one. It's Blueprint, still on par. Darkness looms. The way you are making your head, Mr. Odivwri, a little bit of concern. Darkness looms as Genco's Disco 6 1.2 trillion naira bailout. Senate urges state of emergency. That's the lead. We're not at war with governments. That's according to Northern Emirs. That's right under the nameplate. And that part of the issues that one continues to see on the front pages of the papers. We're not at war with governments. That brings to mind what happened in Kano. Well, when the governor has now made the declaration and said, you know what, let the Emir of Kano be the chairman of the Council of Emirs in that. Well, it's an ongoing conversation. But I think that's the much we can take of the papers this morning. We have to thank you very much this morning for being our guest. Mr. Eddy Odivwri is a former editor of this day newspaper. Once again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we're back in a moment to take on the issues for the day. Please stay with us.